another interview with an exciting woman business owner. I have a lady with me today. She's a book author from Vancouver, Canada, and she has a really cool story about possibility and how when you believe in yourself and dream big and just do what you're passionate about, that amazing things can happen. I'm super excited to pick the brain today with Elena Murzello. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I always
And-
like talking to people and hearing their stories, so I like to share as well. So,
Yes, thank you
thanks.
so much. So, do you want to share just a little bit more of your background so that my viewers can meet you personally?
Yeah, for sure. So, my name's Elena, and I wrote a book called The Love List: A Guide to Getting Who You Want. And the book started back when I wrote a list of characteristics and qualities I was looking for in a potential mate. And that was when I was around 20 years old, and it was about 55 characteristics. And then I went on to go on to have met my boyfriend at the time, and we had a 10-year relationship. And when we broke up, I decided to write a new list. And I also did, some self reflection and whatnot because it was a really hard breakup. It was my first love.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I interviewed single, married, divorced people and saw if they've ever had a list of characteristics and if their list came into fruition. And then it just kind of became a book. I collected stories and these interviews, and it is my very first publication, so I'm really proud of it. And it did take
Yeah.
2 years, so it was
Yeah.
a lengthy process. I went back to school to do my MBA at the time as
Mm-hmm.
well. So I kind of just put my head down and just wrote when I could rather, um, and just studied it as well. And so 2 years later, my book came out, and then I graduated from school. And so it was a really big time for me, a really big celebration. So
Yeah.
that's that's a little bit of my background. So I'm excited to share it with you.
Yes, that is so awesome. And congratulations that you made it so far and that
Thank
you
you.
pulled it off. That's a lot of work to get there. And then also like I know there's so many women authors out there. It's really hard to get published and to get out there. So I'm so excited to have your cool story that we can share this. So
Thanks.
can you describe a little bit more like how did you make it to have all these meetings in New York that you do right now? Like what did you do to take it a step further and to pursue your dream? What
Yeah,
happened?
so that actually came a really random way. I've always actually been interested in film and TV, and when I was in high school and throughout nursing school, I pursued an acting career as well. So I did a few, TV shows here and there, commercials.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought my book would be really great. To be, perhaps something bigger than just a publication. And so I
Mm-hmm.
started to reach out to people on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And LinkedIn probably, I was actually red flagged on LinkedIn because I kept on adding people that didn't know me.
Mm-hmm.
But I would research it out and say, oh, this person would be helpful. Let me just add them. And, you
Mm-hmm.
know, people would add me or people would ignore me. But I kept on going. And so I kept on building kind of a database of
Mm-hmm.
all these professional people.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, one of the people I had contacted on LinkedIn ended up not being so professional, and they
Oh.
ended up taking $500 from me.
Oh
And I
no, I'm
was
sorry.
I was devastated, just because I had gone to school and I had thought all this, but my head kind of got the best of me, and my heart, I was like, oh, this is a really great opportunity, and this
Mm-hmm.
person sounds really good, and they seem to talk the talk, and I want to
Yeah.
be there, and I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And if something sounds like it's too good to be true, it
Mm-hmm.
usually is. And
Yeah.
so this person, promised me whatnot, and it didn't come into fruition. And so after that, that kind of made me very weary of who I contacted and how I
Mm-hmm.
contacted them
Mm-hmm.
and what kind of questions I would ask.
Okay, good tip.
So I actually ended up getting in contact with someone else in New York who
Mm-hmm.
ended up showing me a fair bit of things that I was missing,
Uh-huh.
and ended up kind of taking me on as a mentor. And then
Nice.
from there, I just kind of built on with what I had. I just started, asking more questions and
Mm-hmm.
meeting more people. And, um, you know, I just really find that people are interested in other people's stories. And I find Instagram a really good resource for connecting
Mm-hmm.
with people. And I know it's just pictures and I know it's just posts. But, a lot of Instagram accounts are very well put together. And, some are very quite manufactured, but I feel like there are some grassroots um, profiles out there that they're just doing really amazing work,
Mm-hmm.
really posting really nice pictures. And it's not only the picture, but it's their caption as well. And that intrigues me for sure, because I'm a very visual person, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how I connect with a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
as well. They either find me through Instagram or I find them and I say, hey, are you interested in a collaboration?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a question. Like it at
Right.
least I asked,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are just scared to be like, oh, well, I can't ask so
Right.
and so with 1 million followers if they A, want to follow me, or B, want to do something with me. Like, why
Mm-hmm.
not? Like
Mm-hmm.
the worst thing they're gonna say is no,
Yeah, he'll
or they're
ignore
not
you.
gonna respond.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then you just move on.
Yeah.
Like you just keep going. And I feel like that's something that I really have learned throughout this whole process is you just need to keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
Someone will eventually say yes,
Mm-hmm.
and it might not be the person that you thought was going to be the perfect fit, because something will reveal itself later on that
Yeah.
you had no idea that they were connected to this or whatnot. And
Right.
um, so you just have to take that leap of faith that uh, you yourself have what it takes to get you wherever you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really important just to keep on going,
Yeah. Nice.
um, and be persistent, of
Nice.
course.
So can I ask you, like in your particular situation, and I don't know, we don't have to reveal in detail like what exactly happened because I know you have some cool stuff in the works that's not public yet. But how did you make the leap to New York from Vancouver? Was it literally you did like LinkedIn contacts, and you tried to get meetings in New York, and then you flew over and moved to New York, or how did you make the leap?
Um, well, I haven't moved to New York, so I'm still based in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've just built a crap load of contacts in New York. And I've been there before. So, I mean, when I go to New York now, it's not like vacation
Mm-hmm.
time,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
always
do have a lot of friends
hustle.
there. I do
Mm-hmm.
know the area quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I just keep on going and keep on growing.
Connecting, nice.
Is the best way to put it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I just want to make contacts. So I don't know how else to really go into how I do that other than, following cool people on
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Instagram and
that's really
reaching out
great.
to them. And then, yeah, going the extra mile and reaching out to like established publications like Cosmo or
Mm-hmm.
Glamour um, or GQ or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that.
And just
And
go for it.
yeah,
That's
I
great.
mean, if they say no, then they say no. But it. I'm always happy when people respond,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what it is. If it's a
Yeah.
no, at least they responded. If it's a yes,
Nice.
then that's great, and they
Mm-hmm.
responded. So I think you just really need to go for it and be a little bit ballsy, I
Mm-hmm.
guess,
Cool.
um,
Love it.
and not be worried about like, oh, so and so is going to look at my numbers. Like I have low numbers. I still have low numbers, but
Yeah,
I
that's not
feel like
everything.
the quality of my work and, the consistency of it
Mm-hmm.
is great. And
Yeah.
people, like, I also feel like, when people try and, network, they do it on a superficial level.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
not
feel
really
like
working.
people can see that it's
Mm-hmm.
a little superficial. And that's why, I know for my own website, I don't. I've had requests where people are like, "Oh, can you review such and such?"
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't like it, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And regardless of traffic flow or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
because like, you want to stay true to
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah,
and
I
your own
agree.
brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say, oh, I really like this scarf when I think it's ugly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Um, so I feel like people kind of sell out in that way just to get their numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you need to go that route. I think
Yeah,
you need
I
to
agree
actually
with you.
have a consistent message
Yeah.
and, have, that follow you through. And I think, and people will just gravitate to what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because
Yeah.
you've set the bar for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, right?
Yeah, and you're yourself. You have your own voice and what you believe in. That is, I can totally back that up. I realize that too. And
Yeah.
I stay away from fake people on Instagram too and all those things, you
Oh,
know. So, yeah, I agree with you. Awesome. Let's zoom in a little bit on your background, which is also part of your inspiration for your book. So getting what you want is like a big topic for you, like in the book that you wrote. But can you say that a little bit in the business sense to inspire women? Like when you talk about getting what you want, what how let's talk about making possibility happen, like starting from nothing. Like what three things do you think women business owners can learn from you? How
oh
can you get
goodness.
what you want?
Um, well, okay. The first one is, probably, like, dreams don't work unless you do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's great. We can talk about it. We can have these, like, lofty goals and
Right.
everything, but, uh, you know, then do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people, often get stuck in that, well, I don't know what to do to get to
Right.
that level.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a lot of brainstorming, it's a lot of shutting your mouth and actually doing the
Yeah.
work. And
Hustle.
it's not fun. I'm not going to gloss it over and say, oh, it's so glamorous and da 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 da. Yeah, the end goal might be glamorous,
Mm-hmm.
might be, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of emailing. It's a lot of calling back. It's a
Yeah.
lot of, keeping on top of things.
Yeah.
Having a full-time job while you're doing kind of
I
a side hustle.
Right.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do need the money to have some sort of flexibility in what you can do.
Right. More
Um, you
leverage.
know,
Mm-hmm.
Especially, okay, for instance, like photographs. I remember, for instance, when I was doing, acting full time, I would be the only one in the room that wasn't waiting on tables.
Yep.
I was actually going to the hospital and being a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people found that weird, but I was like, why is it
Why?
weird? Like, I have so many great stories to tell you guys about patience and managing people in pain and
Mm-hmm.
a whole range of emotions that I could just draw upon.
Yeah, nice.
And I had a pretty stable job. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and the money was coming in, and I could easily just throw that down on some more classes or get
Yeah,
headshots,
nice.
because it's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's not cheap at all. So yeah, that's one of the things. Be grateful for what you have and
Uh-huh.
for what you aspire to have. I think that's really big. Because things don't always go your way.
Right.
And sometimes you think, oh, if it only went this way, but it ends up being better than it would be had it gone that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird kind of, there's that saying, like, things always happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And I believe, when you're when you're giving yourself like 110% hard work in a focused direction and it doesn't go your way, at least you can say that you've put that much effort into it
Mm-hmm.
and say, okay, maybe I need to regroup, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
something has evolved into something else and you had no idea and it's better than you ever imagined.
Right, right. Good
Um,
one. Like it.
yeah. And then the other thing is probably just, be a sponge for knowledge and really reach out to people who are experts in their field
Mm-hmm.
in different sort of topics that you might not be interested in.
Oh,
Like you just
wow.
really,
Interesting tip.
yeah, just
Like
really
outside.
expand. Yeah, expand your knowledge. Like I feel for myself, like I am an Aquarian, so I
Mm-hmm.
like arts and I like sciences. So I like writing and I like all that sort of stuff and design and fashion and that's fun. But I also am interested in, like healthcare and
Yeah.
helping people and innovation and technology and
Mm-hmm.
and what's the latest app and how you can code websites and stuff like that. Um, so, but it all kind of, that kind of meets each other, right? I mean, if you think about web design, it's kind of the meshing of the two things. So I feel like just to expand to get a different language is always important. Like,
That's
I went back to
interesting.
school and got the business language, like that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes for interesting conversations, and I
Yeah.
feel like you can relate
Yeah.
to a lot more people than if
Yeah.
you're just speaking one language.
I totally agree with that because I realized that when I was studying, when you have like these different fields that are not really related with your direction, but suddenly you have a broader horizon, a bigger view,
Yeah.
and you get, I think you also get more flexible, and I guess your mind is like more adaptable to all
Yeah.
kinds of things. So that can be really useful in business in all kinds of manners to think outside of the box and look at things from different perspectives. And it's like,
Oh,
hey, there's
yes,
different
yes.
solutions.
I think
Yeah.
for problem solving, it's great. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you go into certain disciplines, they're often taking stuff from other disciplines to try and problem solve their own problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you kind of are aware of what else is out there, it might actually help you.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's really cool. And it's exciting. It keeps us
Yeah.
interested and growing. Cool.
Yes.
If
Yes.
you think for women business owners, can you think of one resource, woman to woman, something that you think girl power business owners should check out, a book, app, a website, or something that really struck you as super powerful?
Yeah, well, there are tons, and as I was saying, Instagram's a really great resource, and I
Yeah.
found through just collaborations on Instagram and just following different sites. I mean, the typical female is one that I just found recently.
Uh-huh.
Um, we did a short interview together, as well as Girl Talk
Oh, cool.
HQ. Yeah, so and they often put out female focused interests postings and whatnot, and it's just an interesting two very interesting profiles to check out. And then the other one is the style line. I was thinking about it the other day because we do collaborate a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Rachel Swartzman who heads the style line, and she's just amazing at her content.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it's basically style and whatnot, but she pulls a lot of different resources. So I feel like she deserves a shout out as well. But there's so many.
I know, right?
Just yeah, yeah, and there's definitely like I'm always a sponge for reading like the Harvard Business Review. Like they always, yeah, they have interesting things, or Inc. or
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Fast Company, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
cool, cool. That's a good idea too, to kind of think outside of your industry and have like a bigger picture of like how to make
Oh,
things
yeah.
happen. And think like a big CEO and all that.
Oh,
Literally,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Love it. Let's give back to you a little bit. Let's do a three
Okay.
minute power quiz. And can you tell us what exciting things are you working on these days? What's happening? What can you
Oh my
reveal?
goodness. Well, I am back to New York on Tuesday, and
Hmm.
so I'll be doing a few meetings about collaborations and meeting people that I have only met through email or through text
Uh-huh.
or through, you know, I've never met in person. So
Yeah.
I always like to touch base with people. I
Hmm.
find that um, I, going back to what I was saying before, I like to make real connections.
Yeah.
I mean, I like networking and but not on a superficial level. I like
Hmm.
these people eventually become my friends.
Yeah,
Like
that's nice. I
and
love it.
so I just feel like as all of the time, like if you visit a place, you don't want to connect with your friends again.
Hmm.
Um so a few meetings like breakfast, brunches, that kind of thing. And then of course, uh I'll just be, going around the city. There's a lot of like holiday parties and whatnot
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
happening.
I can't
So
wait to
excited.
I can't wait to
Yeah.
see in the future when you can actually reveal certain things because I know you have
Oh my
stuff cooking in the
goodness.
background about your book and like
Yes.
you
You
guys.
know what?
We,
I will say it's actually has taught me a lot about patience because
okay,
I'm
good.
not a patient person.
Me neither.
I would have this, yeah, I would have this all over everything. But I'm glad that it's taking this long
Uh-huh.
because it's definitely taught me a lot about being patient
Hmm.
and a lot about the industry as well and just how things happen and
Yeah,
um, whatnot.
that's a good
So I'm excited.
inspiration.
And of course, writing and reading.
Hmm.
A book that I actually got picked up, Leslie Zemeckis. So she
Uh-huh.
is the wife of Robert Zemeckis,
Yeah.
who
Oh, cool.
directed Back to the Future and whatnot. So she actually wrote a book. So the book is about it's a biography. So
Uh-huh.
I am actually going to crack that open finally and read that and have that on my site. And then just writing a few articles here and there. I
Hmm.
like to keep that muscle going
Yeah.
on just what I'm interested in at the time.
Yeah,
So
very cool. Do you have
yeah.
a big dream that you would want to reveal like in 3 years where you'd love to be in life? Or you just
You
take
know
it as
what?
you go?
Honestly, I say happy and healthy because I think those are two really big things.
Yeah, good
Two
one.
huge
Love it.
things. Yeah. Yeah.
um, so is there anything we can help you with resources or anybody who watches this, anything like support you'd like and anything
Oh my
or
goodness. Just follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I would love that.
oh cool, yes.
Um, yeah, and then just, watch everything unfold and you will not
Yeah,
be sorry.
for sure. So tell us where we can find you online.
So my website is elenamurzello.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then my Twitter and my Instagram handle are at Elena Murzello.
Mm-hmm.
So
Perfect. And I'll put
very
those
simple.
links along with everything where I post this.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elena. This was amazing. And I wish you so much success. And I'm not as patient as you are right now, looking where you're going to be going with your book and all the exciting things. I'm crossing my fingers for you. Good
Oh,
luck.
thank you. Thank you. And it's always great. It's always good to connect with people. Like um, you like email people and you inquire like, oh, do you want to do something? It's always great that you're open and you're willing to share what you have with your audience
Yeah.
and help others as well. I really like that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate all your inspirations with for all the
Aw.
women out there. Thank you so much, Elena. This is amazing.